What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Today we are doing a fresh Tepid Takes. Tepid Takes is the title that I have given to my series on chatting about new makeup releases on my channel because A, I keep an encyclopedic collection over here. I'm pointing to my stash so that I can compare and swatch things when new releases come out so that I can help you make the most educated decisions on your beauty purchases. And by virtue of that fact, I tend to buy more than the average user. I am not buying for a personal collection. I'm buying for the library in most cases. And if there is something that interests me on a very personal level, I usually specify that. So if that sounds interesting to you and you're new to my channel, then consider subscribing while you're here. We do a lot of swatching, a lot of color theory chatting, a lot of formula comparisons and things like that. We do a series here also called This or That, where I take questions from everybody on my Instagram stories to compare specific formulas to one another and swatch them and discuss them. And those come out periodically as well. So subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to drop in on trend mood. I've been noticing that things have been coming out really fast lately, and I think it's just because we're entering that time of year, so we have a lot to catch up on. Let's go ahead and jump in. So the first thing up here is new All Hours Creaseless Concealer from YSL. I have recently been admitted into the somewhat elite club, or at least I'm on a probation period right now, I guess, of being on the YSL gifting list, and so I get something like every month from them, and it's amazing. I'm just like, ooh, I feel so special. So maybe they'll send this in PR, but let's see. It says creamy, creaseless, full coverage concealer designed with multi-use applicator for natural soft matte finish up to 24-hour wear hydration. $38 each. Sounds like they are really trying to come for that Givenchy Prism Libre concealer, which I don't think claims to have a soft matte finish. It is a much more like natural, almost radiant finish. But if they're gonna say hydration and $38 is $1 off of $37, which is how much the Givenchy one is, I'd be interested to know how much is actually in the container. Coming soon on their website, so I'm not really sure yet, but it does look large. The models holding it in their hand, it does look like they're really coming for the Givenchy. And you know what that means? That means that if I were just a normal beauty consumer, I would say pass because I love the Givenchy and I have no use for another concealer personally, but that's not the conversation, is it? No, no, no. Y'all want to know whether it is better than the Givenchy. So that is why I will definitely be picking this up. It looks like I would probably be LN1 in this. Yeah, off to a roaring start. We're 1 for 1. I really like that applicator too. It's weird. It's like a pointed doe foot, like a diamond topped doe foot. I think I'll be a fan. Looky, looky. We have the Guerlain Holiday 2023. We do have an eyeshadow quad that does seem to be trying to take a spin on red and green, which is always a bold choice. It's an intuitive thing to try to go for holiday, you know, Christmas colors, but they've made it a little more wearable, being a berry, you know, green's a little easier. That's all well and good. I'm probably not going to be buying a Guerlain quad because I've already had a Guerlain quad. They're fine. I like them okay, but this color story is just like not hugely appealing to me. The thing that is attracting my eye, if you have been in the beauty space since, you know, 2018 at least, something like that, I'm sure you're getting these tingles as well. Does that Guerlain special edition bronzer not give you pink leopard vibes from Too Faced? I remember that was my bronzer of life. Bronzer of life was the Too Faced pink leopard, but A, it was discontinued, and B, I look back and I'm like, that bronzer was not maybe the most flattering thing on me. It was a little bit too cool toned, the browns in it were. So this is the Terracotta Sunkissed Natural Healthy Glow powder in Golden Leopard, and I have to admit that's appealing enough for me to want to try it, just because I think that those colors combined would be beautiful. Now I did own the terracotta bronzer in the fairest shade at one point, and I did a rare thing. I actually returned it because it was like wildly apricot colored and it just didn't flatter my skin. So, and it wasn't even like a blush apricot. It was just like you bought the wrong color apricot. I think that this looks a little more neutral, the way that they have kind of dusted out the color, you know, and mixed it together. It does look like a nice kind of like rosy tan, if a little bit yellow, but regardless, I'm curious enough to want to know. So out of this whole collection, I think I would buy that one just because nostalgia. And also I think that I would enjoy interacting with it. It's just a nice looking component and a nice looking product. Next we have the Pillow Plush Blush from Cosmetics, a blush with a soft cushion texture, leaving a flush of matte, color, pillowy and soft, hybrid formula, blends gel, cream, and powder infused with ceramides, peptides, and vitamin E. And I actually have these. So Cosmetics sent these to me. I have arrived at the fact that Michelle Phan is a weirdo. I don't think that she'd be mad at me saying that. She's just a weirdo, okay? And like, take her or leave her, but she does understand color and she does understand texture, and these are really beautiful. I think that she did a great job with them. I actually already used them in the video where I reviewed my newer Prada stuff, so you know, my new favorite foundation of all time, and also the Prada No. 3 palette, which ended up creating a pretty plummy look on my eyes that went really beautifully with both of these. So this is the shade Peanut and Tickled right here, and I recommend them. I think that they're really lovely. They're $26, and yeah, I mean, that's how quickly things are coming in PR right now. I actually posted it before they came out and they had to tell me to take it down, so. Anyway, next we have new holiday 2023 from Givenchy. They have taken the Prism Libre concealer component and, you know, just like any other brand, any other person, any other creator, whatever, when we find something that works, we tend to try and find something else we can put in that same package so that it appeals to the same people and attracts the same kind of attention. And so they have now come out with the Prism Libre Skin Caring Highlighter. So now we have the concealer, the color corrector, and the highlighter all in the same packaging. Maybe I'll try it because I do like the concealer. The rest of this collection does not really appeal to me because the lipsticks are not really, you know, I don't really one way or the other. That eyeshadow palette is definitely not very appealing to me. Those colors just, I don't want to wear any of them. And whatever that thing is, La Rouge, what is that? Sheer Velvet, I'm not sure, but the 4-pan thing where they mix them all together, the powder, y'all can have that because I'm still bitter. I'm still salty about the fact that my lid got stuck on my Prism Libre powder before I even got to decide whether I like it or not. And I still can't get it off of there. And I don't even know where it is at this point. I think I chucked it one time, like across the room out of frustration. God only knows. It's hermetically sealed, I do know that. We are really like batting 1,000 here in terms of things that appeal to me. So this is the new Groundwork Palette Defining Neutrals from Danessa Myricks. And I was tagged in this by a bunch of people saying this really looks like something that's right up your alley. And then I also got messages from people being like, I don't get it. And I will admit, when I first looked at it, I didn't get it either. I was like, what am I looking at? Why is one small and one big, and what? They're different textures, like one is a putty. So it says 2 textures, 1 velvety pomade and 1 shape and fix. So I'm guessing that is like a putty and a powder. So it says base with a velvet pomade and line with a velvet pomade, and you're going to set and blend with the shape and fix, and it's $65. The first thought that I had looking at this after I, you know, decided that like I get it and that it appeals to me was the Danessa Myricks, in her infinite wisdom, could have charged double for this. The Groundwork palettes tend to be nude, and then she has the Lightwork palettes. Those are really expensive a lot of times because they have multi-chromes and everything in them. Either way, I could have seen this being $100 at least, you know, and like $65 is definitely a price that I can stomach just to know, out of my own curiosity for the sake of my channel, you know, from a testing standpoint, whether this is good. So I will definitely be picking this up. It just has my natural inclinations in mind. It's got the cool, it's got the warm, it's got the light, it's got the deep, and it's got different textures. And I think that whether it sucks or whether it's awesome, I want to know. And that comes out on September 4th. What is that? Oh, Jaclyn Hill, God bless her. God bless her. Vanity Light Glazed Luminizers. I'm going to talk about this because Jaclyn put that video out where I actually posted on my Instagram stories because I felt so strongly about it. Like, obviously Instagram stories is not getting me any clout. I'm not like trying to like piggyback on her by like making some video about her and like, you know, trashing her or whatever. Like, no one really cares about my opinion. I just wanted to say it. I feel bad for Jaclyn because I feel like something in her career has led her to the point where she feels like every time she has like a personal epiphany about her own personal growth as it pertains to her career and things like that, that's when she has to come out and like self-flagellate about it. Like, I feel so bad for her that she has to like come out. She's like, I'm closing my brands. She can't just say I'm closing my brands. She has to come out and say, I'm closing my brands. I was a fool. I was an idiot. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but she's just like, I thought that I needed to be this, you know, multi-brand owner, you know, multiple threat because all of my peers were. And I just realized that that's not me. And I'm just like, tell it to your therapist. Not that it's bad to be vulnerable, but I think there's a difference between being vulnerable and just coming out there and like spilling your guts to people who have not shown any pattern of being like kind or understanding to you. Yes, she still has people who are supportive, but like most people are not coming out of the woodwork to support her vocally, publicly at the rate, at the size, the ratio of the people who are showing up in her comments to just drag her across the coals at every opportunity. And I'm not trying to litigate or legislate on whether she's right or wrong. I mean, the creator that she stole her name from for her cozy line or whatever, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that like everybody makes mistakes and you don't have to go out there and just air that to everybody every time you have a personal epiphany. I hate that she feels like she has to. That she feels like she has to not just come out and make an announcement, but come out and just like lay her soul bare to the mercy of a completely unforgiving public that has become, you know, drawn to her like moths to a flame at this point. And I just wish better for her. I really just want that girl to find happiness. I feel like the YouTube space like swept people up in the beginning in an arc of fame that a lot of people weren't like ready for and didn't even really have the time or, you know, maybe the maturity because they were all really young to decide whether that was something they were even agreeing to consciously. It just happened, and like money is very enticing. There were probably a lot of people also telling her strike while the iron is hot and all of that. And so that arc of fame and that arc of success has probably led her to, I'm just guessing, but it's like put off some of those realizations until later. And those realizations happening, she has shared so much of herself publicly and mined her own suffering for content for so long. I feel like she doesn't really know any other way, and I just really would like for her to find some way of being like happy and loving herself in a way that doesn't need other people voicing and chiming in, you know? Either way, that's how I felt about her video, but she did sneak in a little plug for her next release. As she was saying, she's probably gonna be closing down Jacqueline Cosmetics. It's a transforming high shine glaze balm that brings your true radiance to light in 5 blinding shades. It's a highlighter. I won't be buying this. I just wish her the best. I really do. I genuinely do. And anyone in her position, which they are rare, but you know, I do. I feel like it's kind of done a number on her. What have we here? LeBron James' wife is giving us a sneak peek into SJ Skincare Daytime Moisture Veil, Nighttime Moisture Veil, and all day serum. I am assuming these are lab samples because the packaging looks, it's a lot. These are lab samples. So yeah, it's a little bit, you know, early to tell, but especially from the standpoint of skincare that is made by a Black person for Black skin could probably be cool. I mean, I have learned not to write anything off after eating my hat on Rhode Beauty, okay? Like, Rhode Skincare. Oh, God. I will quote myself. Even Patrick Ta is tired of Patrick Ta. I was so in love with Patrick Ta's releases for so long because I do feel like he was like the new breath of fresh air that something like the Charlotte Tilbury aesthetic really needed, which was like, we're gonna work in skin native tones, we're gonna make beautiful glowy skin, but it's gonna feel fresh, you know? And the prices were a little bit less than Charlotte Tilbury and like fine, but he hasn't had a new idea in a long time, and it says, this is the new eyeshadow palette. Say hello to Major Dimensions 3, all matte. I don't care. Like, it's not that I don't care about an all matte palette. I just am not. I have both of his other palettes, and I will be honest, while I liked the color stories enough and I felt like they had enough variety in them to want to try both of them, and I did use both of them and I still use both of them, they are not, especially the matte formulas, tantalizing enough for me to want an all matte palette because I would need to get excited about it. I would so much rather do that Danessa Myricks one than this one, and this one's more expensive than the Nessa Myricks one. I'm not throwing any shade on this in particular. I'm just not interested in it. And also from the standpoint of a reviewer, I already know how these perform. It is truly Major Dimensions 3, as in we already have 2. I have both of them. The mattes are fine. They're quite saturated. They are quite pigmented. They're not something that I reach for on a regular basis just because on my fair skin, they go to a look really fast, which is fine. I wish that the shimmers were more consistent and not so chunky. Yeah, I wish that it had channeled a little bit more of either something we're used to, like a Charlotte Tilbury formula, like a shimmer formula, or something unconventional like a baked shadow from Pat McGrath, but they were somewhere in between, and I just felt like they just didn't give me something that was, you know, really elegant on my eyes. Like the textures were not particularly elegant for eyes. So yeah, I won't be doing that one. Thank God, something I'm actually not gonna buy. This is not an anti-haul. REM Sweetener Foundation, clinically proven skincare color hybrid, hydrates skin instantly and over time with buildable, blendable coverage. 60 shades, that's a lot. $35 each, coming soon to Ulta. You know, maybe. I don't know. Like, I have heard terrible things about REM in the beginning, and I feel like I heard rumblings recently that things were improving a little bit. Now that I know that Ariana Grande has been going through a divorce, I can understand maybe why she would have been putting things on the back burner and maybe kind of phoning life in for a little while. Maybe, you know, she's putting her efforts back into her brand the way that like Kylie has after having kids. All of these like major life events, I'm sorry, these are still people we're talking about. They're still people who have lives and things going on. And like Jaclyn Hill was a really good example, the way she said, she's like, you know, you can do the bare minimum, especially if you've got fame on your side, like you can get away with doing the bare minimum. So I do feel like REM was doing the bare minimum for a while, but I do know that the concealer has gotten great reviews. So maybe I will take this as an opportunity to try both the foundation and the concealer. What do y'all think? I still don't care about Sol de Janeiro. I just don't, the smells don't appeal to me. However, I bought Father Figure, and it actually, well, I did buy Father Figure. I got Fleur to send me Father Figure, and it is absolutely lights out incredible. I liked it so much that I made a Sephora order and I bought myself a travel one because I don't want to be without it. It's important. Here we go. We have the new, a Natusha Denounou palette, the I Need a Nude, Natasha Denona. That was a translation for, oh my God, y'all, I have to tell you this. So my kid has been getting used to sleeping in a big boy bed, and the result has been less sleep on both ends of his typical sleep cycle. He kind of has trouble falling asleep, although last night was a lot better and it is improving. And then he has been kind of being up with the sun. And I'm usually up with the sun, and that's how I get a head start on my day, but no. This morning, thank God he didn't wake up till 6:30, but Saturday morning, he woke up at 4:48, and I was like, come get in bed with me and go back to sleep. And so he was cuddling with me because he's actually the cuddliest child in the world. I don't know if they're all like that or if I'm just incredibly lucky, but this kid just wants to snuggle all the time. It's the best. It's the best. He just, oh, and he'll like take my arms and wrap them around him. It's the best. So we're like kind of dozing for an hour or so, and he's a wiggle worm, and I didn't really fall back asleep. I did get a chance to nap later when he napped, which was great. But either way, it's like dead silent, right? Aside from this little kid just kind of, you know, breathing in my ear, whatever. And then all of a sudden I hear, I like to eat apples and potatoes. I want to eat apples and potatoes. And then he goes, what the next one? And I was like, I guess we're up. Anyway, it was just because I had pronounced Natasha Denona stupid that made me think of that, because I love the way that he can't pronounce, like, it's not that he can't pronounce things, it's just that he hasn't gotten the firmware updates, the firmware updates yet to be able to like pronounce his R's and stuff like that, but it's just hilarious. Okay, anyway, cool toned palette with 15 nude shades in matte metallic sparkling foiled and a new wet effect formula. We love a new wet effect formula. There are so many shimmers in this. It's really, really gorgeous. Sleek 3D plexiglass case. Am I the only one who doesn't give a crap about these plexiglass? That doesn't appeal to me. I'm sorry. I'm never gonna end up on her PR list. The only thing I really like from her is the contour, and I still don't know whether it exists one day to the next. But I used to love her foundation. foundation. The Foundation X. Ooh, that was so good. Anyway, $69, available August 19th, which already happened, which is why I am seeing it already, I think, on people's social media. Either way, I will not be buying this. A, it's a cool toned palette. If it were cool with some other things, maybe, but also B, I don't really like the Natasha Denona eyeshadow formula. Even as my skills have improved over the years, I still find this to be an incredibly difficult formula to work with. The mattes frustrate me. I don't like that they stick and then they don't go anywhere. I want a little more fluff to my mattes, and they're just too professional. They're too committed for me. And while I have heard criticism, and I'm sure if I opened up these comments I would read criticism, that this is very much more of the same from Natasha Denona, and I do have the My Dream palette. That one is like, it's like a cool toned kind of leaning purpley, and that was very much, I mean, I will probably still get back into that come winter time. Someone asked if I'm over Fjord's cheeks. No, I got in a coral mood because of summer and spring and just wanting things, you know, like I like to wear blue in the season, and then, you know, but as soon as I get back into wearing like my winter wardrobe, I guarantee y'all I'll be back to like the, you know, flushed kind of like ruddy simulation cheeks. Either way, I am ADHDing. I was doing really well, but now I'm ADHDing. But either way, the thing that bugs me about this, and I'm gonna get a little bit like philosophical here, is just that I don't feel like she's giving people time to enjoy her last release before putting out another release. Because if you are a Natasha Denona stan, which I was in like 2018, I was just trying so hard to follow the Tati success model, and she loved Natasha Denona so much that I bought every release that Natasha Denona put out in 2018, which was really expensive. But if you are a person who likes to collect her stuff, it's not even so much that this is similar to other things, because if you like her stuff, then you'll like this. You know what I mean? I feel like this is very much straight down the middle of what Natasha Denona does well. It's more so that she just released the Yucca palette. And I know that they're very different from each other because the Yucca palette is like greens and yellows mostly, but still, I'm just kind of like, give some oxygen to your releases. Am I crazy? Maybe it was a really long time ago. Maybe Yucca came out in like May, right? May or June. I just don't feel like it was that long ago. And like, good for her. And then God, we just had the mini Starlet palette. And I guess that like the clip is just the clip of like how we're, you know, putting makeup out these days. Sorry, I'm like screaming at you. I feel like, especially for a brand that does charge like luxury prices. Sorry, I think I noticed that my cheeks were uneven. I don't know. I feel like it just doesn't give enough space between the releases for me to get like excited about it. And I don't like her formula, so. Moving right along. I'm not sure what there is to say that hasn't already been said about the fact that Urban Decay won't let Naked die. I don't think I've ever owned a Naked palette. I think I had Naked Cherry for about 5 minutes, and it was another one that I actually returned. That was years ago, like years and years and years ago, where if I bought something that was as pricey as a Naked palette and it didn't end up working out for me, that was like an investment that I would want my money back on, you know? It wasn't a write-off at that point, I don't think. So anyway, here we have the new Naked Metal Mania. Includes 12 shades and a mix of different finishes. I don't really understand why it's called Metal Mania. Like, is that, I guess that just is because it's full of metallics. I thought that Metal Mania maybe was something that they had collabed with, she said in Clueless Millennial. I have no idea. I have very few feelings on this within the context of being a Naked palette from Urban Decay. I have one large overarching feeling, and that is that like my senses reject this color story. I just don't like it. They did the Stoned Vibes palette, which I loved. That was a great one. And then I saw Hannah talking about the Bygone Born to Run palette, which I used for my wedding. That was an amazing palette. I loved that palette. It was a really, 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 really good palette. And she also mentioned that she wished that they were kind of going down that route a little bit more instead of just chasing this down and calling everything Naked. No, I'm like the opposite of tantalized by this, regardless of what they call it. Like, those don't, nothing about that appeals to me. Nothing. I don't want to put any of those on my eyes. Okay, so, oh boy. Lancome by Louvre collection. This is their holiday season 2023. This is so beautiful and so classic looking. I love it. I don't own other than a Juicy Tube and maybe like an eyeliner, I don't think I own anything from Lancome. The eyeshadow palette looks gorgeous. The lipsticks look gorgeous, but like the eyeshadow palette is entirely kind of shimmers, and the green, you know, it's a quint, so the green doesn't really look like something that I would want to put on my eyeballs really. I'm not gonna buy this, but I do want to just say that I admire what went into designing this collection, because I think that it's beautiful and it looks really different from other things that are coming out right now. Especially a collab with the Louvre. Like, that's cool. I like that. Oh, okay, here, yes, this. Makeup by Mario, who we just did a little revisiting on his Surreal Skin Foundation just so that I could remember why I hate it. And I hate it because it doesn't dry down. It's beautiful, but it doesn't dry down and it feels like sludge on my face. And have I mentioned the product foundation? I'm pretty sure it says that they're gonna be having it like on the Prada website starting September 1st. So I think that might mean the US. I'm serious, y'all. It's so excellent and I can't stop using it. I've been using it every day since I got it. So I was still on board to try this, the Makeup by Mario concealer that he's coming out with. It's called the Surreal Skin Awakening Concealer. It's already out, came out on the 17th. Multi-use concealer that visibly lifts, blurs, and brightens your under eyes and complexion. Caffeine visibly depuffs, tightens, and smooths skin for an awakened look. I feel like there's like market research that, I mean, not that caffeine is like a new idea, but I feel like there's market research circulating right now between brands where they're just like, hey, this is the best performing concealer on the market or something, you know, let's just copy it kind of thing. And I feel like everybody knows that the Kosas one is amazing and that the caffeine really appeals to people because it actually does something. And so like, I'm not calling everybody a copycat or whatever, because like I said, it's been in like eye creams and probably concealers for ages, but the popularity of that one has probably led brands like Tower 28 or Makeup by Mario to put caffeine in there. I could be wrong. Medium coverage, buildable formula, crease proof, and long wearing with a self-setting formula. I'm listening, Mario, because there was nothing like that happening with your foundation. It locks in with a natural skin-like finish. Sounds very much like the actual results that I get from the Tower 28 concealer, which is what I'm wearing today because I love it. I also, y'all, again, the ADHD is ADHDing and I don't care. I'm on the Auric PR list now. What? Amazing. We will be trying some of this stuff on camera soon, because when I initially invested in Auric, I bought all the wrong shades and everything. And now that I have the right shades and everything, I think my feelings are going to change. So this is the Glow Lust in Morganite, which didn't exist when I ordered mine. So yes, that's what I'm wearing today underneath my makeup. So anyway, I went to buy this and they don't have a shade for me. I mean, I could probably get away with 120 or maybe 160, but they're pink. They're cool, warm. And then 200 is light, medium, neutral, which is gonna be too dark for me. I'm not saying, don't let anybody get it twisted, that my skin tone is underserved in the complexion market, in the beauty market at large. That's not the case. I just can't test this concealer because there's no shade for me, which I think is interesting because when you look at this shade range, it's fairly evident that the deep skin tones didn't get very many either. So what is this? Is it all medium? It's what it seems like. It's just that it's all medium because the deep, I mean, there are some, but not many. I don't know. My eye detects giant leaps there in terms of undertones and depth. And so I don't know. With 22 shades, I am very confused as to why these were the 22 shades. I would love to try it. I will probably swatch it in store just to see if I have a shade I can use because I can get away with it. Fair skin tones, especially on a concealer, can usually get away with it. It just depends on how extreme the undertones are. So we'll see. The other concealer that I wanted to talk about is the Triclone Skin Tech Concealer. This is coming out on September 7th from Haus Labs. And this comes in 6 shade families, 4 undertones, 31 total shades. First of all, I just want to say that Steph looks great, okay? Lady Gaga looks fantastic. Like, has she had work done? Yeah. Have I had work done? Yeah. Like, I think that it's kind of all about what makes you feel good about yourself. She just looks great, okay? She's so just radiant. Either way, she is putting out, you know, a compliment to a foundation that I don't like. I just don't like that foundation. I don't think that the finish is easy to work with. I think it's finicky. And while some people are able to find their undertone in it, I was just not able to, and I found it to be just a frustrating experience across the board. Does that mean that I'm not going to be trying this? No. You know I want to know, and we love a redemption arc, especially for Lady Gaga, because she's just lovely. She's an Aries queen. So yeah, I don't know. I just probably, I'll give it a whirl, but I gotta say, something would have to really knock my socks off to unseat this as the best new concealer. The Tower 28 is so nice. It's so nice, okay? None of us are getting any younger day to day, and this makes me look younger. And that makes me happy, okay? I did buy this already and it's coming in the mail soon, and I was not interested in it. I didn't even know that it existed yet, but this is the new Fenty Beauty Ease Drop Blur and Smooth Tint Stick. I personally really like the Ease Drop liquid foundation, but day on day, it was like my first experience of a very good example of a foundation that was working when I wore it, but I couldn't figure out why over a long period of time of loving it and wearing it that my skin was sort of degrading in moisture. And I was like, oh, like this is something that's not specifically made for my skin type, and I can get away with it for a day or two, but it will over time suck me dry a little bit. So that's why I don't wear it very much. But I do think that it's really, really beautiful, and it photographs beautifully. It's a fantastic formula. So anyway, I saw this on Amanda Z's channel, you know, and I was like, cool. I didn't know that that was a thing. I ended up buying this, and I bought it in shade 2, I think, because it's like, I want to say, I just went on the fact that it looks like the same shade range as the original Ease Drop, so that's just what I did, and it should be coming in the mail soon. So I'll be excited to try it. Ooh, let's talk about something that I don't care about. Are you ready for the holiday season 2023? This is the advent calendar from Charlotte Tilbury. And if there's anything that I have learned from watching a lot of Teresa from Teresa is Dead's content, it's that when it comes to Charlotte Tilbury, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Charlotte is gonna get her money. Even if something is packaged as if it is a bargain, a deal, whatever, if there is a surprise box of any persuasion with Charlotte Tilbury, it's probably not going to be something totally mind-blowing, especially for the price. Her stuff is so overpriced to begin with. You might get a good quad or something out of there, but it's not going to blow your mind in terms of value, and she does the advent calendar every year. $210 for a 12-drawer beauty advent calendar. The other thing that I don't care about with an advent calendar is I don't want to buy things that I don't know what they're going to be, period, end of story. I got enough stuff. I got enough stuff rattling around that I can't see at any given time, and my object permanence is flawed at best. I don't need a bunch of stuff that I literally will never look at again because I didn't choose it to begin with. And no thank you. Oh, Hailey Bieber. Hailey Bieber is out here with Strawberry Look is trending. Now it's, that was August 4th, so it could be over by now. Hailey Bieber is giving a sneak peek for some new products. I mean, all she has to do, and this is again, no shade, all she has to do is like 2 days before she comes out with a product or 2 days before she's gonna tease a product, say, I'm a strawberry girl, and everybody goes, strawberry girl! And then I did it too, you know, but because it's cute and I wanted to use my strawberry colored blush that I made. And then she's gonna talk about a lip and cheek that she's coming out with, which, you know what, I'm sure it's lovely. And I'm on the road PR list at this point, I think. They sent me all the skincare products, and do you know what? I love them, and I'm done being mad about it. I'm just going to own it. I like them, and I will probably like this too. Okay? Fine. Someone come take away my Scene Kid badges. I'm selling out. So we have new shades in the KVD eye pencils, and also a tubing mascara that a couple of people have asked me to try that has a brush on it, a wand on it that looks lethal. It looks like it's one of those things that you can't drive backwards over when you're going into a parking garage. Like, it just looks threatening. I have, again, Teresa of Teresa is Dead to thank for going out, getting a couple of sheets to the wind, and then going to Sephora, because she tends to kind of buy a bunch of stuff and then go try it the next day. So she's really finger on the buzzer on new releases, and she was excited about these eyeliner pencils. And she also read the reviews on her video, and she was like, this gets terrible reviews, I'm gonna buy it anyway, kind of thing. And it was not good. The ones that she tried were not good. So yeah, I don't think that I'll be doing that. And then the tubing mascara, again, and this is petty, but I don't claim to not be petty. If you came to my channel hoping that I'm going to be some paragon of diplomacy, absolutely not. I don't want this to be mascara because it's ugly. I just think that it's ugly. I think that it's an eyesore start to finish and I don't want it. If it were brown, you know what I mean? That would be 1 point for it, but Bubel is coming out with a brown one and my good friend Rudy is going to be releasing that with them. So excited about that. Excited to try that one. And I believe that we're back where we began. I don't think that did I get a chance to talk about the packaging of the YSL Holiday 2023? Because if I didn't, let me mention it again. I love the candy glaze. I am obsessed with it. I use it constantly. The new packaging of it, Natalie and I might as well have simultaneously sent it to each other and gone, oh my God. You know what I mean? It's just like, absolutely. That's just hook, line, and sinker. That's just such an easy yes for me. I'm like, will I use it? Yes. Will I enjoy interacting with this packaging? Yes. Sold American. Done. The rest of it, but for sure on another candy glaze in just the most beautiful packaging ever. So as far as a luxury experience is concerned, that's a luxury experience. So that might be one of the most mentally expensive Tepid Takes videos I have ever done as we're going into holiday, but you can look forward to finding out the truths about all of these new releases, and I'm actually really excited. This is the first time in a while that I've been like excited about products that are coming out, and I think it has to do with the fact that like I have been really pleased lately with the results of the stuff that I've been trying that's been new. Like the record has been pretty amazing on the things that have been finding their way into my possession, either by me purchasing them or being sent to me in PR lately. I mean, there's just such good stuff. The Chanel stuff that I've been loving lately. I have the Prada stuff that I've been loving lately. The YSL stuff that I've been loving lately. Auric. Obviously my new blushes from, you know, from Finding Ferdinand. The lip gloss that I'm wearing right now from Finding Ferdinand. Like all of this stuff is just the freaking Tower 28 concealer. Like it's just been great, okay? There's just been some great stuff happening. I'm sure I'm forgetting things right now. The new shades in the RMS blushes that we just tried. Oh, the Phytosurgence bronzers. The Berry Freckled Pen from Rudy Berry. Like there's just been really thoughtful, cool, not just new releases, but stuff just finding its way into my possession lately, and I'm pleased, okay? I feel like it's helping me kind of hammer out a more refreshed visual identity for myself lately, which actually has become a little bit more demure. Even though we've been experimenting with a little bit more color lately, like the Prada palettes and the, you know, the RMS highlights and stuff in the last video, I still feel like I'm just able to get so much more of what I want out of my complexion routine lately because of the things that I've been trying, and like more subtle washes of color and everything, like for my cheeks and, you know, my bronzer and stuff like that, that it's making me feel more confident to be experimental in other places, like, you know, a bright lip or something like that, and still stay in what I feel like feels still like me. So I don't know. I fall in and out of love with the beauty space depending on kind of what the temperature is of it at any time, but right now things are feeling very cozy to me. I don't know if that means anything for y'all, but for what it's worth, I'm in my happy place. I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you did, do me a favor and give the video a thumbs up. It just takes a second. And if you're not already subscribed, it is confirmed at this point. Research has confirmed that cool people subscribe. If you are cool, consider subscribing. It would be very cool if you did. So I will put a video up here that I think that you will enjoy if you liked this one. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.